Finally, the juice has come back on a Friday afternoon with your Asgardian League of Fantasy Week 14 recap. Yes, it's been a while since you've seen me on a Friday afternoon here in the car rider line to pick up the kids from school. And, I just figured I'd try a little something different. Shout out to The Rock for the little, imitation on the entrance there. Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. And he was one of my favorites back in the day, the Attitude Era of WWF at the time, now WWE. It'd be cool to see him come back for another match. But that's not why we're here. We are here for the Week 14 recap, the regular season finale of recap videos as we move on to the playoffs here in Week 15. Let's go ahead and dig right in. We had myself taking on Pops, beating him by 28 points in a game that didn't really mean much to him and just kind of left me where I was at seeding-wise because it didn't get any help from any of the other teams I needed to lose, slash win, whatever the scenarios were. I don't remember. It's done and in the past. We move on. Pops tripled his win total from last year to this year, going from 1 to 3, and maybe next year you can do the same, and you'll be in the playoffs with 9 wins next year, because I believe that's a solid number to guarantee a playoff spot. So hopefully you can turn that ship around and your young talent that you have acquired some of really takes the lead for you and carries you to new heights. I don't really know where I was gonna go with that. That I was trying to be like that what is it, facetious, that might be the word I'm looking for, like kind of backhandedly insulting, even though it sounds like I'm kind of, that's what I was going for, and I kind of hope that came across that way. But no, in all sincerity, I do hope that you can continue your rise from the depths, from 1 win to 3 wins to, whatever next year brings. You had a down year, you had a good team, you had some bad luck in your matchups. Your team was better than what your record reflected, and I hope that next year everything can kind of go your way a little bit better, and we can be talking about you in the playoffs next year. So moving on, we had Eric taking on Brad in our second matchup, getting the win by 84 points. Defensive Player of the Year going to Max Crosby with his 10 total tackles and 2 sacks. I did not write the point total down for whatever reason. I don't know what it was. It just kind of slipped my mind, and I don't have that. It was over 30 points. I think it was like 38-ish. It was a crazy game for the Raiders. That ended in 3-0 win for the Vikings. I don't know that I've ever seen an NFL game end in a score like that. That's bad. That's pretty wild. It was 2 minutes away from going to a 0-0 tie into overtime, and that's just dumbfounding to me, because I don't think I've seen anything like it in the NFL in my 35 years of life. So, I wasn't really watching the NFL till I was about 11. So, the last 24 years, I don't recall anything like that. So, in our third matchup, we had the Battle of the Bryans with Smith coming out on top by 74 points. Just sending Brian Carden and ending any hopes he had at the playoffs. So sending him onto the toilet bowl, and he'll now try to not lose out so that he can get rid of these nuts and hand them off to somebody else. So it's a 74-point victory there for Mr. Smith. Our fourth matchup had Matt Murphy taking on Josh Jansen and winning by 41 points. Not really close there either. Josh Jansen was borderline playoff team. He was in the 6th seed, and all he needed to do to move on to the playoffs was not get outscored by Josh Russell by 3 points. And he got outscored by Josh Russell by at least 3 points. I don't know how much it ended up being. Even though Russell did take the loss to Melvin in our 5th matchup, 4-point game there. It was a close one going into Monday night, and Melvin did have old King Henry there to save the day with his 2 touchdowns in a thrilling comeback by my Tennessee Titans, baby, against the Miami Dolphins, down 14 points with 3 minutes to go, and they did what they needed to do after fumbling the ball twice, back to back, once on a punt, and then on the very next possession fumbled on the very first play, and the Dolphins thought they were going to be slick and throw out the Remember the Titans dance from the warm-up in the movies. And that just, I guess the Titans just didn't like that. So they said, hey, let's go shut them the heck up. And yeah, they did that. It's been great because there's been a Dolphins fan at work that was chirping all day Monday, and I gave him some wild predictions. I was telling him that Will Levis was going to throw for 505, Derrick Henry is going to have 303, and all this crazy stuff. And he's like, nah, man, the Dolphins are going to beat you, we're the best. And I said, yeah, well, when you lose, we'll see what happens. When Will Levis throws for 505, I'm sure Flipper is going to have a hard time coming back up from air, and just because he's going to be so sad that Miami took that L. And I haven't seen any reports that they're a dolphin. I think they use a real dolphin as their mascot. Don't they have a dolphin, right? They have to. I mean, you're in Florida. You might as well have a dolphin. I don't think they actually do. I think that was just an Ace Ventura thing. But anyway, I digress. Let's see, where was that? Oh, yeah, Melvin beat Josh Russell by 4 points. I should have given King Henry Offensive Player of the Week, but Deebo Samuel decided he was going to put up 40.2 points with his 149 yards and 2 total touchdowns on however many touches he had. He has some rushes, he has some catches. He's returning kicks too now, so he probably even had more total yards than that. I don't know that I wrote down a total that included his kick return yards. So our bench player of the week is going to go to David Njoku, who had 29 points with his 6 catches for 91 yards and 2 touchdowns. I know you were trying to probably skip the playoffs and get a better pick to go along with your rebuild, but now you're in it, man. I think it'd be awesome to see if see what you do in the playoffs. Anything can happen once you're in there, and it'd be wild to go back-to-back years from the 6th seed. Well, no, I guess you didn't have the 6th seed last year because you ended up playing Melvin. Anyway, from a low seed, 5 or 6 or whatever it is, all the way to the championship game. It'd be pretty crazy. And so I'm all about chaos as long as it doesn't affect me And I'd love to meet you in the championship game, so that I can beat you there too, because I've been doing that regularly in our other redraft league that we are also in, with Mr. Carden. I beat you twice this year. I even called my shot on the second one. You're probably still going to make the playoffs over there while I am not. So at least you got that, I guess. But head to head, I've had your number, I think. I think I've even had it in this league too. I just don't have the stats offhand to back it up. But anyway, once again, I'm getting a little off topic. We're going to move on to the Player of the Year, Rookie of the Year nominations. And we're going to try to zoom through these because I got about 5 minutes before they let the kids out and this line is going to start moving. So, Player of the Year, offensive side, we had Tyreek Hill, Josh Allen, CMC were the top 3 nominees. And shockingly enough, the Cheetah ran away with it. In my opinion, he's averaging 26.1 fantasy points per game this year. That's a whole point over Josh Allen and almost 2 points over Christian McCaffrey. Just absolutely crazy. Receivers aren't usually that consistent, and he has been on top of it all year. Absolutely wild. On the defensive side of the ball, we've had Foyesade, Oluokun, Zaire Franklin, and TJ Watt are your points per game leaders. They've had pretty crazy seasons, but consistently Oluokun is at the top of the scoring list, or he's at least putting up 20, 25, 20, 25, 30, 20, 30. He's always up there, man. Like, he's one of the more dependable linebackers that you could have. And he's led Melvin's defense. So he is our Defensive Player of the Year for 2023. It's been a pretty good year. So we're going to move on to the Rookie of the Years. I think I was going to say something else there, and I don't know where it went. Just kind of lost my train of thought. So we're just going to move on. Rookie of the Year time. I gave this one some consideration. I thought about just going off total points. But then again, if you're not starting them, they don't get considered. And, CJ Stroud is up there in the point totals. But last time I checked, he's still on Murphy's taxi squad. So there's no way I could really consider him. So I kind of moved on, and I settled on these 3 names, Puka Nacua, Bijan Robinson, and Sam Laporta. Bijan has started every game for me this year. It's been some ups and downs, but he's really started to take over as the lead running back for the Falcons. But he's not going to be the Rookie of the Year. I'm going to give that to Puka Nacua with his 17.3 points per game this year. He's spent 1 week on taxi squad for me. I started him for a week or two, traded him, and he's probably started every game since last time I checked for, Mr. Smith. He's averaging almost 3 full points more than Bijan per game, and 3.5, almost 4 full points ahead per game of Sam Laporta. So it's really a no-brainer. Puka Nacua, Rookie of the Year, 4th round pick in the rookie draft, to absolute beast. I got scared. I thought Cooper Kupp was going to come back, take all the work away from Puka, and they have they've been doing the thing together. So, well, not the thing. I don't want that to sound. No, never mind. They have been playing well together on the field, especially of late with Matthew Stafford supporting 2, top 20 options. I think Puka's even top 10 in points per game this year among receivers. So, crazy year. You don't see rookies come in and do that all that often. And it was really a no-brainer that he should be our Rookie of the Year. Going on to the playoff and toilet bowl brackets, Melvin and Eric are 1 and 2 seeds sitting in the bye weeks. They're going to set bench player lineups just to see if they can beat Brad this week. So that'll be interesting to track, and I will update you on that next week and see how that goes. Our 4-5 matchup is Mr. Smith and myself. The sibling rivalry goes on again, and last time I checked, I was favored. I avoided, thankfully, the monster game from Josh Palmer last night. Nico Collins has been ruled out, and CJ Stroud's probably doubtful anyway, so we don't know how that was going to go for Nico. Justin Jefferson is questionable. Devin Achane is questionable. It's going to be a tough hill to climb for my brother there, and honestly, I hope he doesn't even make it halfway up the hill, because I'm sorry, I want to win. I want this championship. I want to be the one to take out Melvin, and take that trophy back from him. I haven't had it in my house since the first season, while we were still deciding our first champion, and I'd like it back for an extended period of time. So that's my goal there. In our other first round matchup, we've got Matt Murphy, the 3 seed, taking on Josh Russell. Murphy was favored last time I checked in the projections, and we'll see how that plays out. And over in the toilet bowl, we've got Josh Jansen taking on Brad. Brad was favored when I wrote these notes, but then Devontae Adams decided he was going to put up 30 points last night as the Raiders scored 63 on the Chargers. And I think that has probably swayed a little. And Jansen is probably now favored over Brad. And honestly, I hope Brad comes back and wins, because I don't want, Eric doesn't need the first round pick. I shouldn't have traded it to him. I should have kept it. I've made so many questionable trades here as we're getting ready to start moving. So I'm going to go ahead and move on to the last matchup. Brian Carden taking on Pops. Pops was favored in that matchup as he looks to avoid becoming our D's Nuts holder for the next year. And Carden, he's trying to give him up. And we'll see what happens there. So good luck to everybody this week as our matchups kick off. Whatever it is you want to happen, I hope it happens, except for the ones that negatively affect me, because I'm selfish when it comes to fantasy. And see y'all next week.